Okay, buenos días a todos.
Good day, everybody.
Mi esposo ha sido detenido hace 3 semanas.
My husband was detained 3 weeks ago.
Él está en la cárcel de Elizabeth.
He's in the jail in Elizabeth.
Tiene orden de deportación. Él no se quiere ir.
He has an order of deportation and he doesn't want to leave.
I don't know. No sé cómo explicarle a mi hijo la situación.
I don't know how to explain the situation to my son.
¿Cómo le explico que su papá posiblemente no va a volver?
I don't know how to explain it to him. He's only 5 years old. How am I supposed to explain to him that his father might not come back?
I graduated from UNC Chapel Hill, University of North Carolina, in May, last May.
After studying?
Philosophy. I was just Googling on Idealist at the end of last year. So I started working with AFSC over the summer on a campaign to pass what's called an anti-detainer policy in the city of Newark, which is basically a policy that will limit the amount of cooperation that local law enforcement has with federal immigration enforcement. In order to be able to really address those issues, we realized we needed a much deeper understanding of how it is that those dynamics are playing out at the local level. So the strategy that I've taken is hold these forums to give information about what to do when you come into contact with police in order to protect yourself from ending up in deportation proceedings, what to do if immigration comes to your door.
Saludos a todos. Yo bien rápido voy a hablar un poco de qué es lo que está pasando en el momento con la reforma migratoria, que hemos escuchado mucho hace unos cuantos meses, ¿no es cierto? Y ahora se escuchan menos y menos, ¿sí o no?
And then also information about what's going on at the local level, because there's a lot of confusion about what the relationship is exactly between federal immigration enforcement and local law enforcement.
Good, yeah.
So what's next? What's the next step?
Fighting individual deportation cases
Yes.
is an option, and it takes like community making phone calls like crazy.
Okay.
And the idea is also that those highlights the crisis, right?
A lot of what this project is about and how I measure my days and the success of those days is about what kinds of relationships am I building with people, what sort of interactions am I having, you know, a good day is a day in which I stumble upon a story, right? Which is, and it to some extent it really, you know, you can be more proactive and less proactive, but there's a stumble too. So I've been doing that with different groups that are already in existence, so allies that we have. And then also I've been working with young people.
Oh, he was one of the
Hashtag now, hashtag for real.
Hashtag for real.
This is the first press release we've ever gotten picked up.
by a big.
And with a number of different churches to sort of build groups there, get more people engaged, and, you know, create sort of sustainable groups that can take on this issue, and then hopefully others is the dream.
Cast out our fear, make us truly welcoming nation once more for the stranger, the outcast, and the forgotten. For it is in the strength of justice and the courage of mercy that we can all breathe free. Amen.
So I'm not Quaker, so everything that I know about the Quakers comes, or a lot of what I know comes through the AFSC. The AFSC's perspective, which tends to be sort of, especially on criminal justice issues, tends to be more and immigration with respect to criminal justice issues tends to be more radical than a lot of other groups, right? But at the same time, there's very much a sense of, I'm gonna say, use a Quaker expression wrong or something, but like seeing the light of the other person and lifting that. When we're thinking about police officers and what is it that they want, or guards in immigrant detention centers, to sort of really talk to them, listen to them, think about what it is that's motivating them, and think about, you know, some of these systems and the ways in which those can be limiting and hurtful to, you know, to an immigration customs enforcement officer as well. And something that I really appreciate about AFSC is that it thinks really critically, drawing on you know, the work that the lawyers do here. They're working with people who do have criminal histories sometimes, or they're working with, you know, it's me working with the mentally ill. And so bringing that perspective complicates a lot of the assumptions that we would otherwise make, that I would otherwise make.
Deportation. Families, not deportation. Families, not deportation. Families, not deportation. Families, not deportation. Jesus, 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 not deportation.
So we have exciting news in Newark, which is the police director issued a general order saying that the police in Newark are no longer going to detain people on behalf of immigration enforcement. Once it came out on the Spanish language networks, that was great because, you know, you had, there were a lot of people telling me, like, who were like, yeah, we were part of the presentation, but like we didn't think it would actually happen. and I think especially for the people who actually attended the meetings with city council members, to really feel like they're a part of making a change was huge. I'm now focusing on casting a broader net and getting stories from people in other parts of New Jersey too, because ultimately what I'd like to be able to produce, to leave on, is the experiences of our campaign here in Newark, and really share that with other localities in New Jersey who would like to pass similar policies. I want to share the Newark policy that AFSC and Center for Popular Democracy and ACLU and a couple other organizations worked on. And then I'd really like to see this, and I know Emily would too, spread to other places as well. So we've been talking in Jersey City for a long time about getting something done, and kind of tossed around the idea of pursuing something at the county level. So right now I think like both avenues are open. Jersey City would be easier. So that might be a first step along the way, but we're also interested in exploring the idea of Hudson County. It's an exciting time to be doing this as well, and I'm really thankful for the AFSC for that, sort of in terms of me thinking about, you know, last year thinking about where I could have ended up. I couldn't have imagined that I would end up in, you know, working on an issue that I care deeply about that's also so pressing now, and there's so much energy behind it.